As you enter your 60s, 70s, and beyond, life often becomes quieter on the outside, but heavier on the inside, because the noise of work, ambition, and constant movement slowly fades away, leaving you alone with your thoughts, your memories, your worries, and sometimes your fears. And it is in this stage of life that many people realize for the first time that physical aging is not what truly exhausts them, but rather the endless mental tension created by overthinking, regret, anxiety about health, fear of dependency, and the silent pressure of feeling that time is running out. Many older adults smile on the outside, while their minds never truly rest, constantly replaying the past, worrying about the future, comparing themselves to who they used to be, and quietly asking questions they never asked before, such as, "Am I still useful? Will I become a burden? Why do I feel so uneasy even when nothing is wrong?" And the painful truth is that no one ever taught them how to protect their mental peace as they age. But here is something deeply important to understand. Mental strength in later life is not about forcing yourself to be positive, pretending you are fine, or denying pain and loss, but about learning how to stay calm inside, even when life feels uncertain, how to soften your thoughts instead of fighting them, and how to live each day with emotional balance rather than constant inner struggle. In this video, we will slowly and clearly talk about how to stay mentally strong and calm in your 60s, 70s, and beyond, using simple but powerful shifts in thinking and daily habits that do not require perfect health, money, or youth, only awareness, patience, and kindness toward yourself. Number 1, stop trying to control life and start trusting the flow of it. One of the main reasons people feel mentally exhausted and emotionally tense as they grow older is because they are still trying to control life the same way they did when they were younger, believing that if they worry enough, plan enough, or hold on tightly enough, they can prevent change, loss, uncertainty, and discomfort. When in reality, aging is the very process that teaches us that many things will change no matter how much we resist them. Your body will not respond the same way every day. Your energy will rise and fall unpredictably. Other people will make decisions you do not agree with. Society will move faster than you can keep up with. And the more you fight these realities, the more mentally tense, angry, and restless you become. Not because life is cruel, but because you are demanding control where control no longer exists. Mental strength begins the moment you quietly say to yourself, without bitterness or self-pity, "I will focus on what I can still influence today, and I will release the rest." Because when you stop trying to control everything, your mind finally has space to breathe, your emotions become steadier, and your nervous system slowly learns that it is safe to relax. Calm older adults are not calm because their lives are perfect, but because they have learned that peace comes from choosing acceptance over resistance, flexibility over rigidity, and trust over constant fear, allowing life to unfold without gripping it so tightly that it hurts. 2. Train your mind to live in the present moment instead of getting lost in the past or future. As people move deeper into their 60s and 70s, one of the quiet but most damaging habits they develop is spending hours of their mental energy either replaying the past with regret, guilt, or self-criticism, or imagining the future with fear, uncertainty, and worst-case scenarios. And although this may feel automatic and uncontrollable, the truth is that the mind becomes restless and emotionally exhausted, not because life is truly dangerous, but because it is rarely allowed to rest in the only place where calm actually exists, which is the present moment. When your thoughts are constantly traveling backward to things that cannot be changed, or forward to things that have not yet happened, your nervous system stays in a permanent state of tension, quietly preparing for threats that may never come. And over time, this mental habit drains your emotional strength, weakens your sense of peace, and makes even safe, ordinary days feel heavy and unsettling. Mentally strong older adults slowly train themselves, without force or frustration, to return their attention to what is happening right now. How their breath feels moving in and out of their body, how their feet touch the ground as they walk, how warm their tea feels in their hands, how a simple conversation sounds when they truly listen. Because every time the mind comes back to the present, anxiety loses a little of its power, fear becomes quieter, and the body receives the message that it is safe to relax. Calmness is not something you find by thinking more, solving more problems, or analyzing life endlessly, but something you rediscover again and again by gently bringing your awareness back to this moment where life is simpler, slower, and far less frightening than your thoughts make it seem. 3. Allow your emotions to exist without judging or suppressing them. As people age, many quietly believe that they should no longer feel sadness, loneliness, fear, or emotional pain, telling themselves that they are too old to be upset or that they should be grateful and strong. And because of this belief, they begin to suppress their emotions, push their feelings aside, and criticize themselves for not being calm enough, not being positive enough, or not being emotionally stable enough, which ironically creates even more inner tension and emotional fatigue over time. True mental strength in your later years does not come from eliminating emotions or pretending they do not exist, but from allowing emotions to rise and fall naturally like waves, without immediately labeling them as weakness, failure, or something that needs to be fixed. Because emotions that are accepted tend to soften and pass, while emotions that are resisted tend to grow louder, heavier, and more painful. When you allow yourself to feel sadness without panic, fear without shame, or loneliness without self-blame, your mind slowly learns that emotions are not threats, but temporary experiences, and this understanding alone creates a deep sense of inner stability because you are no longer fighting yourself every time a difficult feeling appears. Mentally calm older adults are not calm because they never feel emotional pain, but because they have learned how to sit with their feelings gently, breathe through them patiently, and trust that no emotion lasts forever when it is met with awareness instead of resistance. 4. Simplify your life to protect your mental energy. As you move further into your later years, one of the most powerful yet often overlooked ways to stay mentally strong and calm is learning how to simplify your life intentionally, because mental exhaustion does not usually come from doing nothing, but from holding on to too many unnecessary obligations, unresolved worries, emotional clutter, and expectations that no longer serve who you are today. Many older adults feel mentally tired, not because their days are full, but because their minds are crowded with things they feel they should do, should worry about, or should care about, even when these things bring no real meaning, joy, or peace into their lives anymore. And over time, this constant mental noise slowly drains their emotional strength. Mentally strong people in their 60s and 70s learn to gently let go of what no longer matters, whether it is excessive news consumption, draining relationships, unrealistic standards, or the pressure to please everyone. And by doing so, they create more mental space for rest, clarity, and calm, which are far more valuable than staying busy or socially acceptable. When you simplify your life, you send a clear message to your mind that it no longer needs to be on constant alert. And as a result, your thoughts become quieter, your emotions become steadier, and even ordinary days begin to feel lighter and easier to move through. 5. Create daily routines that anchor your mind and emotions. In later life, mental strength is built not through dramatic changes or big achievements, but through small, consistent daily routines that give your mind a sense of stability, safety, and rhythm, especially in a world that feels increasingly fast, unpredictable, and overwhelming. Simple routines, such as waking up at the same time each morning, taking a slow walk, spending a few quiet minutes breathing, stretching your body gently, reading something calming, or reflecting quietly before bed may seem insignificant, but over time, they become powerful anchors that help your mind stay grounded, even when emotions fluctuate or life feels uncertain. These routines quietly tell your nervous system that there is structure, predictability, and safety in your day, which reduces anxiety, prevents emotional overwhelm, and creates a deep sense of inner balance that does not depend on external circumstances or other people's behavior. Mentally calm older adults are not calm because nothing ever goes wrong in their lives, but because they have built daily habits that support their emotional well-being, allowing them to return to a place of steadiness and peace, no matter what the day brings. As you move through your 60s, 70s, and beyond, it becomes increasingly clear that mental strength is not something you suddenly achieve one day, but something you practice quietly, patiently, and imperfectly over time, through the choices you make about how much you worry, how gently you treat yourself, and how willing you are to let go of what no longer serves your peace. Staying mentally strong and calm does not mean that fear, sadness, or uncertainty will never appear again, but it does mean that when they do appear, you no longer panic, criticize yourself, or feel lost inside your own thoughts, because you have learned how to breathe through discomfort, accept change without bitterness, and trust yourself to handle whatever comes next. The most peaceful older adults are not those who avoided hardship, loss, or aging, but those who stopped fighting reality and started living with it. Those who chose simplicity over stress, presence over regret, acceptance over control, and compassion over self-judgment, allowing life to unfold naturally without constantly tightening their grip on it. If there is one thing to remember from this video, let it be this: your later years are not meant to be lived in fear or mental tension, but in clarity, calm, and quiet strength, because you have already survived so much, learned so much, and grown enough to deserve peace. From this moment forward, try to move a little slower, think a little softer, and treat yourself with the same patience and understanding you would offer someone you deeply care about. Because mental calm is not a luxury, it is a choice you can return to every single day. If this message resonated with you, take a moment to like this video, because it helps this message reach other people who may be quietly struggling in their later years. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing to the channel for more calm, thoughtful, and practical conversations about aging, mental peace, health, and living well as you grow older. And if you feel comfortable, share in the comments one small habit or mindset from this video that you want to practice starting today, because writing it down makes it real, and your experience may quietly help someone else feel less alone. Thank you for spending this time with me. Take care of your mind, be gentle with yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.